At 62, I made a decision that surprised even me. I went back to school to pursue a PhD, what they called a terminal degree. Most people assume that I did it for prestige or maybe to grab a fancy title. The truth is much deeper than that. It has nothing to do with money or ego, but it has everything to do with something much more meaningful and deeper within myself. Well, let me tell you about a person who planted the seed for this journey. Her name is Olive Bryanton. I read about her in a news article. She was from the Prince Edward Island, from the east coast of Canada. She finished her PhD at age 82. Yep, you heard it right, 82. Her research wasn't about any abstract topics. She was exploring the lived experiences of older women in rural communities, her neighborhood. She lived in the rural area of PEI. The title of her research was Pioneers in Aging, Voices of Women 85 Years and Older, Aging in Place in Rural Communities. I was so touched by her fervent passion. It wasn't about a title that she is chasing after. It was about giving voices to the older women in the world she knew and loved. That's when I realized PhD isn't a race for the young. It's a marathon of purpose that you can pursue at any age. You can see a picture of Olive joining the Order of PEI in 2020. Why in the world did I start a PhD journey at 62? First of all, welcome to my channel. My name is Joyce Lee. The reason for me to start this journey wasn't because of a midlife crisis. It came down to three powerful forces that has driven me all my life. First, it is the insatiable hunger for knowledge. I'm 66 and I want to soak up as much of this world as I can. I want to know why am I here, what is living on this earth all about, and who is behind all of this. I'm still searching for that answer. I've always wanted to go deep to become a true expert of something. And wouldn't it be wonderful to learn about why we're here, what is on this earth, and what is living as a human being all about? I believe in the sheer power of understanding. And this started way back then when I was a teenager. My poor father, he had never understood why I constantly needed money for guitar lessons, for Girl Guide trips, or for buying baking sheets, for making cookies, you name it. A PhD, in a way, is the ultimate expression of that hunger for knowledge. Well, it's called the terminal degree for a reason. It's like reaching the summit of a mountain, knowing you have the skills to climb any peak you choose. The second force behind of this is I've always been a fixer. I want to fix things. I don't want to put things in waste. And I cannot bear the feeling of seeing wasted human potential. I don't want to merely exist. I want to live a life that matters. I want to use my personality, interests, talents, unique gifts, skills, values, and passion to make a difference in this world. For me, that means contributing to knowledge that endures, something that outlifts me. Well, here comes the light bulb moment that led to the third force. It's about simple living. It started with a book called Voluntary Simplicity Toward a Way of Life That is Outwardly Simple, Inwardly Rich by Duane Elgin. The ideas in this book mirrored something more modern and familiar, such as minimalism. Everywhere I looked, people were decluttering their apartments, their lives, they're choosing less, and somehow finding more joy. You've got Marie Kondo telling us to toss anything that doesn't spark joy. And the minimalist racking up over 80 million views on Netflix. Bam! It hit me. What if minimalism isn't just about personal happiness? Well, what good is my happiness if the world is facing climate change, systemic inequality, injustices, and facing ecological collapse? What if living with less is actually a key to a better world for everyone? Could there be a connection between minimalist living and human flourishing? That question became my PhD, and what gets me out of bed every single morning. I'm not just researching a lifestyle, I'm exploring a path to collective well-being. Now, let's talk about the uncomfortable question. At one point, a professor asked me, "Are you doing this for vanity?" It really hurts when I hear that, because it made me sad that my intentions could be so misunderstood. There is nothing prestigious about studying for a PhD, because the investment in time, money, energy, and effort is massive, and the payoff is often not proportional. The opportunity cost of dedicating years of your life to this journey is extremely high. If you are doing a PhD for money, you'll be utterly disappointed. Sometimes it may even hurt you. For example, in business, employers value skills and results, not just degrees. Having a PhD simply tells people that you know how to study and do research, and that's it. And you have to be passionate about your subject, because that passion is the only thing that will keep you going when the going gets tough. Therefore, knowing my why, the real reason I'm doing this, has been my anchor for 4 years now. Because before I even started my PhD, I completed a thesis-based master's in aging and health to prepare myself. You see, that grind already took me another 16 months. All that time and effort would be wasted if my motivation was for fame and fortune. So what I've learned about life so far on this journey, I've learned that living a full life means discovering and honoring all our needs. Yes, we need money for survival. We need money to buy necessities. However, we also need to satisfy our intellectual and spiritual hungers if we want to live to the full meaning of our lives. For me, the hunger for knowledge and the meaning of life is always there until my last breath. To contribute to global flourishing, to make other human beings also have a chance to live a good life is very important to me. I want to offer my unique gifts to enrich other people's lives so that they too can live their lives to the potential. I have a few questions for you. Have you discovered your needs beyond money? What would you like to study more? Or what are you curious to know more about? What gifts can you offer to humanity? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. I love to hear them. If you're curious about the rest of my PhD journey, subscribe to follow along. In future episodes, I'll talk about the research process and what I've learned from this study. Thanks for watching.